So maybe because I live up in the Sierra Mountains with the rivers and streams, what's been helping me lately is to use the metaphor of the river, especially staying in my own river of well-being and source energy.
Yeah.
And I've had lots of different careers, social work, teacher, director, and those are real stream jumping, stereotypical careers where I can easily get into someone else's river. And now what I'm doing...
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because in time, with a little experience at that, you come to a personal awareness, because words don't teach, that you cannot be the path of least resistance for someone else.
Right, exactly.
And when you try, they let you because they're lazy.
Right.
And then they resent you because it's not your job and you don't do it well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely learned that many years ago. But even now...
We can feel this as a big thing with you.
Yeah.
Just reach for it and say what you think. What do you think is your reason for wanting to be so helpful to so many? We'll give you some multiple choices. Because we know the answer, and it's one of these.
Right.
Is it because you are an uplifter to the core of your being and you wish well for everyone? Or is it because you care about the way they feel about you? Or is it one of those?
I think...
It's some of both of those, but which is the strongest? Do you feel thirsty to be heard and understood to the point that you'll do almost anything to get somebody to get you? Because that's what's happened to most of you. You want so much to know you're on the right track that you're looking for agreement. Esther used to say to Jerry, I would like to talk about something because I really want to know what you think about this. And Jerry would say, I don't think you want to know what I think. I think you want me to agree with what you think. And Esther would always deny it, but it was always true. It's always true. Yeah, because if you think what I think, then I feel better about what I think. And so, what do you think?
Well, I think originally, I was born in Berkeley, California, and I was all about saving the world and uplifter. But then, to be honest, what also gets woven in is the ego and wanting to be seen. So in the last several years, the more I get into my own river, it's so much lighter and easier. And I'm aware of other people's rivers, but...
When you talk about ego and wanting to be seen,
yeah,
it's interesting because you speak for a lot of people. You want to be seen by others who have eyes. Mm-hmm. And we're here sort of giving you a sales job on not paying so much attention to whether you're seen or what you are seeing, but get into that sensing mode. We want you to tune in. This is why everything that we talked about before you came to the hot seat is so important. You have no idea how seen you are, how understood, how known, how interested we all are in you, how important you are to the equation, how seen you are. It isn't funny. Well, it is funny. It's odd. It's worth mentioning that as humans, you're running around trying to get those who are blind to see you. It would be like asking someone who has no ability to see to ask if they like what you're wearing. Do you like this? Do you like this? Because when you ask those who are not in alignment with Source to know you, to understand you, to love you, to ask someone that's in the receptive mode of hate and anger to love you is not that smart when you think about it. And then when they don't love you, to go further and feel unlovable by asking someone who is not in the vibration of love to love you, and then to accept it as your failing. Yeah. So now what?
Well, that's why this metaphor of the river of source energy is powerful for me because, for example, now I do massage therapy and hospice.
There are headwaters for that stream, aren't there? Headwaters. Yeah. And do you accept the headwaters of that stream as ever-flowing, never running out, infinite? Right. Isn't that nice to know?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice to know that the stream of well-being always flows, and you can step into it or not, You can step into it or step out of it, but it's always flowing for you. And so there are simpler choices. We don't have to debate the existence of the headwaters, do we?
No.
And we don't need to worry about global warming because it's not that kind of headwaters. It's a vibrational headwaters that has no ending, that is always flowing, that is the precursor to all of the other waters that are important to you and all of the other well-being that is important to you. In other words, there is something upstream that you so can count on. But if you get out in some desert and hold yourself in some place where you no longer acknowledge or realize or remember that the headwaters are always flowing, then you can find yourself sort of out there in a place that you don't want to be so much.
Right.
So you have something specific. It's fun to speak philosophically with you.
So my question is whether someone is on the massage table with all their ailments. If I stay in my own river, I am aware of it and I'm sensitive to it, but I don't buy into their manifestation. And also if somebody is in the dying process, some people are actually ready to die.
Before you go, let's talk about the other first.
Okay.
Let's talk about the other first. So do you have some concern that your attention to something other than what you want or what they want for themselves might be practicing a vibration that is detrimental to you? Because that would be true.
That would be true. That's why when I stay in source energy, the results, and it doesn't matter whether they're good or bad, are just different than me worrying about what they're manifesting. And
so here's something that will really help you a lot. Now, you haven't heard this before, and this is exactly what you're reaching for. So we're just going to enjoy the unfolding of this very brief statement. So fast forward, they're on the table and you're there with them. And the two of you are going to have some sort of an experience.
Right.
But before you get all the way out there, let's go back here to the true headwaters. Let's find you in alignment with that source energy. And in fact, let's revel in what that alignment and what that energy feels like as it flows through you. And let's not mentally even go over there.
Right.
Let's stay over here. Stay over here. Because as long as you stay over here, you stay connected to the headwaters and connected to the stream. Don't let yourself get so specifically involved in what's over here that you lose your connection to who you are.
That's what I've been doing, which has been amazing. It's been amazing.
There you go.
And then in terms of hospice, there's some...
Before you go there.
Okay.
As the analogy that we were offering earlier about the woman who wants the $100,000 and then she's going to start her journey. So if you're involved in this part of the journey, of course it's going to manifest to more and more and more. But if you start here, when you get here, it's going to be sublime. But if you start here, you can't make it sublime. Because if you start here, you're not going to go back to here. You got to start here and then go here.
Right. Exactly.
So someone comes to you with a grievance. If you jump in at their grievance, who's controlling the vibration? And can you shift that energy? Unlikely, unless you're really practiced at it, you see. And so this is the reason that we say to you so often, get into the receiving mode and then alignment trumps everything. Yeah. So we know you know that. So now what?
So, so with hospice...
Before you go there... The thing about that we really want to say in a way that we know you already know, but you're going to like hearing this anyway, is that once you're there in that manifestation, you're not really there, you're there. There is a source flowing so powerfully at that time. And in the releasing of physical awarenesses, and therefore in the releasing of activations of resistance, there is such a flowing of pure, positive energy. And so even though you're in the room and it feels like you're there, you're really there, whether you know it or not. Esther remembers years ago, they were in Estes Park and Kate was really little. And there was a big high slide that took a lot of doing just to climb up the steps to get all the way up. And Kate had been watching people go down it, and she was so excited. She was about 4, maybe not quite. And she was so excited about going down it. It looked like they were having such fun. And so Esther walked up with her, up. And when she got up there, she didn't really want to go. And Esther didn't want to walk down. And so Esther just got the blanket that they were going to sit on and said, we'll just sit here for a minute and watch. So they sat there for a second and watched, and then off they went. Because Esther knew that once the ride began, that it was going to be a good ride for Kate. And she also knew she didn't want to walk down those stairs. The point of this story is the inevitability of it. Esther knew there was going to be well-being, and she knew that there was going to be fun. Kate didn't know that, but Esther knew that there was going to be an inevitability about it that was going to bring Kate along. And so there are a lot of people that are in that position that haven't quite yet, especially those standing on the sidelines, that haven't given in to the inevitability of it. But if they would, oh, what a ride they would have. What a glorious, delicious ride of pure positive energy, absolute understanding, source energy, ride of well-being, inevitable well-being they would all have. Something more?
Well, in terms of people dying, but the body's hanging on and the ego's hanging on, what I tried recently was to just mention the river of source and well-being. And it was amazing because it was kind of weird, but they died right away because they just got into the river, the flow of it.
Well, that's what we meant earlier when we say when they are focused there, then that stronger current. And so, yeah.
And then my last
And
question.
the other thing is, this is really an important thing for you to know, because the way you began with us and where we are right now are exactly the same place. And this is not your path of least resistance, it's theirs. Right. You don't want to get twirled up in the fact that they've got resistance on their path about something,
right,
because it's logical that you would have no resistance about it because you understand it in a way that they do not.
Yeah.
But it will help you to know, or to remind yourself, or to activate within you a conscious vibration of something that their inner being is also projecting to them.
Right.
And when you're projecting it to them, you're like a satellite dish that is projecting it to them in a way that they're more likely to hear it.
So I don't even have to mention it.
And that is that this delightful inevitability. It's so interesting to watch so many of our human friends. It's sort of like you don't get into your car and then decide that you'll get under the hood and be part of the engine today. I can pull some pulleys and spit some gas in something. You accept your place in it. And so the engine of well-being, the engine of source, the engine of the eternalness of this person, the continuity of who this person is, the vibrational frequency of who they really are, all this non-physical energy. You are standing there certainly as a helper, but there is so much help that is there that you are unnecessary to the equation, other than to get in sync with the help that's already there.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my question. Okay.
Enough?
Enough. Yeah, thank you.
Really good.